Hello, everyone. It's that time again. It's time to wine with Wanda. Thank you for tuning in. This is my third Instagram Live episode. It's a lot of fun. I have to say, I've really been enjoying it. During these long days of social distancing, in some ways, my dance card has been busier than ever. So I've really enjoyed having these great conversations over wine and sharing them with you digitally. I'm really excited about today's guests. Today we have two of my favorite people in the wine world, the world wine guys, award-winning writers and journalists Mike DeSimone and Jeff Jenssen, and I see that they have joined the call, so I'm going to invite them to join. Give me a moment. Okay, Instagram magic, do your thing. Hi, Anna. Hi, Christian. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, there's
Hey,
one of us.
hey.
The student. There we go.
All
There we
right.
go. Wow, our pile of books worked. Okay,
I
good.
love it.
Hey,
So great to
Wanda.
see you both. How are you doing?
We're great. How are you?
Great.
Good, good. Well, cheers.
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 Let's,
Cheers.
because in real life, we would not start without taking a sip.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
So, World Wine Guys, you've been on the Today Show, Martha Stewart, and now on my humble little Instagram Wine with Wanda.
Wanda, yeah, we're thrilled to be here. We were really excited when you asked us to join you.
Yes.
Oh, I'm thrilled to have you. I love your tagline on your Instagram. We travel, we drink wine, and we talk about it.
Yeah.
That's it. What could be better? That's what you do too, right?
Yes, but you do it incredibly well. I mean, award-winning writers, authors. I own 3 of your 5 books, I
Wow.
have to say. And Red Wine Book is an indispensable resource, co-authored with Kevin Israeli. If you don't have this book, people, you have to have it in your collection. So I feel like I've known you for years, but we rarely get a chance at an event
Right.
to just sit and talk.
I don't know. I keep getting seated next to you, though. That's
It's true.
Well,
But
back when we had lunches.
you know
Back
what?
when, and the last wine lunch that I attended was March 5th at iFiore with the 2 of you.
That's right.
And the world has changed a lot
It has.
It has.
since then.
I have to tell you, there's people that you know for many, many years, and there's people you know for a short time, but there's people you really connect with. And you're one of those people for me, and I speak for us, that,
Oh.
really have your heart in the right place. And what you're doing is you just want to share the pleasure of wine and the pleasure of life with other people, whether it be with your Black Dress Traveler that you did for so many years, and now with Wine with Wanda, because it's what you're really doing. You're doing wine now. So I
Yes,
would like
it's
to
true.
welcome you to our little private club of wine
A
people.
full-time world of wine.
Thank you. Well, speaking of wine, if I were sitting there with you, I would say, what's in your glass? So what's in your glass tonight?
We are drinking a Bodegas Ontañón Gran Reserva from Rioja, and it's a pretty old bottle. It's 2005.
Wow.
You know what? One of the things that we've been opening up a lot of wines, obviously, staying
Of
at
course.
and cooking, and we've been opening up a lot of 10-year-old California wines and 8-year-old wines from Chile, whatever. And I just want to talk to any of the winemakers that are out there, and I see that winemakers who have joined us.
There are a few, absolutely.
Please do me a favor, spend a little bit more money on a good cork. I've got great openers. I use a Waiter's wine opener. I have an Asso, all the things, and so many of the corks have been breaking. This Ontañón 2005, this cork, I don't know if you can see it, it's a perfect.
It looks pristine.
It came out perfectly. I broke a cork earlier today.
Yeah. The Spanish really get it. They know that you're not going to drink this wine for 5, 10, 15 years.
Exactly.
Sell it for 5
Well,
years until after it's made. If
as-
it's a Grand Reserve.
As a Grand Reserve, it can't even be sold for 5 years. It has to spend a certain amount of time in barrel, in bottle, and then before it gets to your home. But 50 years old. So
That's amazing.
And I'm going to tell you, it's drinking as youthful as you.
You're too kind. Well, speaking of youthful, we agreed to both drink Spanish wines tonight. I went to Galicia.
Okay.
So I went with an Albarino from Rías Baixas, Paso de Lusco, 2018
Well, that's a
fresh,
good.
crisp, great minerality. Spent some time on the lees, so it has some interesting
Yep.
texture. But I know that's something that we have in common, our love for Spain, and you actually have a home there.
We
Yes.
do. We have a house in the south of Spain in the Costa del Sol, and as we're able to work more remote these days, and I think we've all seen how remote we can work.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
you
true.
know, we're planning on spending a lot more time in Spain. You know, we've both got Vespas there. We go
Oh,
to the beach every day. We meet
We
friends for
we drink a
tapas.
lot of Albarino on the
But
beach in Spain.
we drink two things: Albarino on the beach and rosé from Navarra. So
nice.
it depends. You know, we have a great waiter, our buddy Paco. We can sit in the beach chair and be like, you know, have our computers on our laps. We're connected to Wi-Fi, and we can actually work from our
Lounge
beach
chair
chairs
on the beach.
and
Oh,
talk. Is like, you know, hola señor, you know, ¿qué quiero? Un rosé o albarino? It's like,
He never says rosé. He says rosado.
he said,
Come
yeah,
on.
see, but no. But he sometimes will speak to us in
Right.
English, and he's like, "Tu quiero un rosé?" And we're like, yeah.
everyone needs a Paco. So
Yeah.
how did the World Wine Guys start? I mean, I feel that your institution's in the very best way. You have such respect. You're so well known in the industry, but we all start somewhere. So how did World
I
Wine Guys begin?
Well, I studied journalism at NYU, and then I wound up doing other things. You don't always, you graduate college and
No.
you take a job. And actually, at the time I went to school, it was either hard news or PR. Now at NYU, you can actually specialize in travel writing or food writing. It's
Oh,
a
wow.
totally different world. But I didn't, although I read the news, I didn't like. I was like, I'm not going to work for a newspaper, and I did other things. And then as I got a little older and started traveling and was eating in restaurants and drinking wine and took some wine classes, I realized what I wanted to do was write. And at that point, Jeff and I actually are about to celebrate our 23rd anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh, happy anniversary early.
Thank you.
That's
Thank-
wonderful.
I'll drink to that. And I'll tell you my side of the story after I take this sip. So,
Sip faster, I'm cutting in.
really, you know what it's like to get a word in edgewise with this one?
Tell your story.
Oh, hey, Marilyn Krieger. How you doing?
Hi, Marilyn.
Hi, Marilyn. I just,
All of our friends are watching tonight.
just saw you pop
No
in.
pressure.
So, you know, when I was going to graduate school in Chicago, I worked as a waiter, and I happened to love wine, so I ended up selling a lot more wine than the other waiters. So my manager said, "Hey, Jeff, we want you to be our wine steward," and that's a word I'm putting in quotes because we don't use that word anymore.
No, it's true.
And I said, "That's great." I said, "What does it mean?" He goes, "You come in every shift about a half hour early, count the bottles, and when we're under like 10 bottles, you order another case." I said, "Wow, I can do that. That's easy, and just sell it on the floor." And they said, "So you'll do it?" And I said, "Yeah, what does it pay?" And they're like, "It doesn't pay anything extra." And I was like, "Listen, I'm a grad student. I don't have time for this. But that said, if you want to send me to school to become a sommelier," and back then in Chicago, we called it a sommelier.
Fancy.
Sommelier.
A sommelier. So they sent me to school to become, and I was one of Chicago's first wine steward /
Oh my goodness.
sommelier. So I've always had this love for wine, and although with Mike and I, our career paths took us differently, we always wanted to go back into wine. So I'm going to tell you, we have the biggest, I'm going to use the New York Jewish word for this, chutzpah,
Chutzpah.
because we pitched Tom Matthews
At Wine
Spectator.
Spectator, when I read all this stuff, and it was like start small and get some clips in your local newspaper. When you live in New York City, you're not getting clips in your local newspaper.
Well, the New York Times is your
I'm
local.
going to pitch
That's
the New
true.
York Magazine or something. But started writing because we had the house in Spain for International Living, which is a website and magazine aimed at English speakers who want to expats who want to retire somewhere else. So kind of became their local Spain expert.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sent a fax. to Tom,
Wow.
because according to either Writer's Market, I don't think we even had Media Bistro yet. According to Writer's Market, he was accepting pitches by fax and faxed a pitch in. And he came back, and actually the first magazine article we did, which I think it was 2008.
It was December
2008.
2008 was
an 8-page cover story on Rioja in Wine Spectator.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's how that happened.
So that's how we kind of broke into the box.
So young people, if you're listening, dust off your fax machine and get out there.
No, we were in the right place at the right time. And we really, Tom, if you're watching today or if you see this in the future, we really want to thank you for the opportunity, because working with Wine Spectator, 12 years ago, kind of catapulted us into the world of wine. We were always there, had expertise, we had the knowledge, but Tom gave us the, eyes on us. And I'm very thankful for that. Now, we're honored when we go to a press lunch or a press dinner. We're seated at the table with Tom. So we're like, okay, this is kind of cool. So, I'm just going to tell you.
But before that, though, we were those consumers, like you go to a wine tasting, like there's an event and you can't make the professional event during the day. And so you go to the consumer event in the evening. And there's those consumers who obviously have like a good body of knowledge and they're really interested. And they're not just walking around sticking their glass out, talking to the producers, and they're taking notes. Before all that happened, we were those guys.
Okay.
We did our homework.
Excellent.
So if I can give anybody some advice, it's like, just stick to it. If you have a love of wine and Wanda, I mean, you've been doing this for so long, and I know you made a big, announcement that you were switching. You're not switching. You're doing the same thing you've always done. You just changed the label a little bit.
Exactly.
And I am so happy to have you in the brotherhood or sisterhood, however you want to say it.
The personhood
of wine writers. And it's great. And we really respect what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
You're doing a really great job, and we're honored to know.
Thank you. I was sending the invitation to you, I was like, oh my goodness, are they going to say yes? But it's like you sending your fax to Tom.
Exactly.
You have to take a chance and reach out, and then wonderful things can happen.
But you know us. I mean, we've sat together.
I know.
But I have a really important question, Wanda. We're number 3. We're episode number 3. Who were 1 and 2, and why weren't we?
They were the guinea pigs. They were the guinea pigs that I love very much.
We actually saw your interview with May, and that was really nice.
Oh, yeah. I adore May. She's just fabulous.
Yeah, but yeah, and you did a great job with her, and I just want to know why we weren't number 1 or number 2, but it's okay.
Next, for the 100th show, you'll be my guest.
Okay.
It's 100.
Isn't this amazing though that we can do this?
It's true. It's true. And world is in your brand. You travel. I mean, I have always lived vicariously through your Instagram post and your Facebook posts. You're all over the place, and now none of us can do that.
Right.
So personally and professionally, how are you adjusting to this time at home, not being able to travel to wine regions?
Personally, I'm shopping for bigger jeans online. But no, you know what? We've been cooking a lot. We're doing, we're kind of doing those hunker down things. And the fact of the matter is, though, we didn't work in offices before. We've always worked from home.
Right.
So although it's like, it's a little bit weirder now because it's like, before I go out there, I got to get a mask and gloves and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But our daily routine at home is not interrupted or changed that much.
But no, at home it's not. But what it is interrupted is that we're not able to go and travel. And, we are wine, food, and travel writers. Mm-hmm. So we've had to focus really more on the wine and food, and those are the articles we're writing these days. We're also writing another book. I'm so glad you have red wine, but it's a bit of a secret, so we can't reveal it yet.
Is it a sequel to this somehow, maybe?
It might be a similar title, but you change 1 or 2 words.
Okay.
So we're really excited about writing, and we actually have the time to write, which is great. How does it affect me? Like mentally, I really miss my Vespa. I really on my Vespa, riding to the market in Spain, buying a loaf of bread and some cava and some manchego cheese and chorizo, and so it affects me that way. But you know what? We're able to do it, and like Mike said, our routine hasn't changed much. I'm just getting a little tired of the. Now, by the way, in New York City, when you have a one-bedroom apartment, that gives you a living room and your bedroom. So that's four walls, four walls. But don't forget the kitchen and the bathroom. So I'm a little tired of the 16 walls, but I'm just going to be so thankful and so blessed that we haven't been affected personally, our personal health by COVID. And I just want to take this opportunity, if we can, to
Of
thank
course, please do.
nurses and all of the people and the supermarket people and the delivery
Absolutely.
for keeping our lives somewhat normal. And I'm really thankful to all of them. So, we can complain about looking at 16 walls, but we really have nothing to complain about. So,
True. Those of us who are able to work from home, it really is a blessing. And there are other people putting themselves on the front line so we can do this, so we really do owe them so much.
Somebody just said, "Don't forget the closet," which was.
oh, true.
So once people are able to travel again, you've been to so many places. What are some of the off the beaten path wine regions that you would encourage people to explore?
I could speak, and Mike, we have maybe different
Yeah.
opinions, but
Yeah.
I love Central Otago in New Zealand.
Oh,
So
okay.
to me, that is one of my favorite places. It's not under the radar anymore. Everyone knows about Central Otago, but some of the best Pinot Noirs and Chardonnays come from there. And it's just, Mike and I are Chevalier du Tasfan at the Clos de Vougeot,
Okay.
Burgundy. And we are honored to be, keepers of their Burgundian wine, secrets, whatever. We have a secret handshake. I don't know if you have a handshake, but we have a handshake.
There is a song, right? Isn't
we have
there
a
a
song.
song? Yes, with the
Bon Bourguignon.
The Bon Bourguignon. So, we're really lucky to have that. But Central Otago is one of those places that makes wines, in my opinion. And please, if I have any of my Burgundian friends watching, we love Burgundy, but these are amazing wines, and
Yes.
these are wines that need to be reckoned with, because there's some fabulous Pinot Noirs coming from that area. Plus, it's beautiful. You have the fjords in New Zealand. You have New Zealand green lip mussels that taste amazing with the Chardonnay and the Riesling, by the way. I really like New Zealand, but Mike probably has a different opinion.
I don't know.
Mike?
I actually feel like for Americans, a lot of people go to Napa and a lot of people go to Sonoma. We travel to European wine regions a lot, and other than Burgundy, when there's some kind of festival going on, you really don't bump into a lot of Americans on the road at all. There's not a lot of Americans in the hotels or in the wine
Interesting.
or anything. Honestly, I think that for people who live in the U.S., that even, Europe is almost like, almost like under the radar for them.
Yeah.
Or I would say, look, we've been to India. We went to the wine region in India to Nashik, which was really cool. But you would have to go to have been to a lot of wine regions before I would say to you, oh my God, you've got to go to the Indian wine region. It's like, that's like a wine writer,
Exactly.
kind of place to go to.
Total geek.
It's true.
Go to Montalcino, stay in the village of Montalcino and visit, a few wineries and kind of immerse yourself and learn what Brunello is, or go to Rioja or go to Ribera del Duero. It's just about the same distance from the East Coast to fly to Europe as it is to fly out to. And I love Napa, I love Sonoma, but I think Americans need to get out there and see all the beautiful, iconic European regions.
It's a really good point, and they're also welcoming to visitors. They make the experience so stress-free, and the beautiful food, the beautiful wine. So we've been staying on the nice and positive side, but I know, when we're amongst ourselves, wine writers, we have our little pet peeves and things we like to whine about, pun intended. So each of you individually, what's a trend or a misconception that just drives you crazy in the wine industry?
I'll go.
I was going to say pet nat.
There you go.
I mean, like pet nat. Like I love champagne.
Okay.
I love cava. I love prosecco. I love sparkling. I like California sparkling wines. I like sparkling wines. They're nice. They're festive. You know, pétillant naturel is pet nat. Everyone's like so excited about it. It's a natural wine that's naturally sparkling. There's so many different ways people make it, whether they do dosage, they don't do dosage. But it's just, for me, it's there are some good ones, don't get me wrong, but I just think this whole trend towards pet nat, and I'm not even going to get into the natural wine thing because
I know, I was thinking, yeah.
Rather, just, you know, any winemakers who are watching this tonight, I would much rather have wines that don't have preservatives, don't have herbicides, don't have insecticides. I would much rather that. However, winemaking is a bit of an art and a science, so sometimes you have to balance that. So I'm okay if you need to do something to protect those vines, and please try to do it naturally if you can. But if you can, I'm okay. So, I'm cool with natural wines. I'm cool with small winemaker wines. I'm cool with large winemaker wines. But all I want to say is that this whole pet nat thing, it's just a little annoying. So that's.
I'm gonna kind of pick up the ball that Jeff started and run with it. And I think, I mean, that as wine writers.
Wait, did I fumble?
No, not at all.
No fumble.
I'm gonna catch it and run with it. No, but I'm just going to say that as wine writers and wine educators, I think that, I mean, sometimes we do a lot of navel gazing, and we as wine writers and educators sometimes know so much and are exposed to so many things that we're always looking for the new things to show to viewers or our readers or our followers. And I really, hey Bethany, thank you. I will run.
Oh, there's Bethany. Hi.
That one might run.
Hey Bethany.
Oh, there's Odila popping.
Odila's there.
People on.
Odila,
Excellent.
how are you doing?
So I think that as much as it's great to like navel gaze and to expose whoever our followers are, wherever they find us, where they follow us, to expose them to the new trends and the new things. If I talk about a wine that's only available at a winery that people are not going to be able to get to, or super limited production, or it's only available at 3 wine shops in 2 zip codes in New York City, I'm not doing a service for anyone. I think that as wine people, we need to let people, as much as, you know, I want to tell you about the best producers possibly and the best things possible, we also, as a service, have to let people know about wine, wherever they live, wines they can find. So exactly. I kind of need to do a 60 to 70% of accessible, available wines that people who live in states that they can only get supermarket wines can find some of that, and then talk about the funky, cool stuff.
Exactly, I agree.
And you know what, Wanda, we do a lot of television. We're invited on WGN. We're Today's Show.
We just filmed a video today.
Actually,
oh, did you?
Filmed a video for WGN. Our producer that we've worked with there saw our tater tot casserole.
I saw that with the champagne. Do you want to describe to the viewers who don't maybe know what a tater tot casserole is?
Casserole.
We made a whole 5-minute video.
Now, it's definitely not high style, okay? So what you do is you take ground beef, you brown it, add some...
with an onion.
With an onion, and then you add some Campbell's cream of mushroom soup to that. Put that in a casserole dish. Top it with Velveeta cheese. And then top it with tater tots, you know, or either tater tots.
And then you put it in the oven for half an hour.
And it is basically...
Et voila.
And so we posted, because we were, I mean, look, we've all been in quarantine for the last...
We've been eating a lot.
More or less.
2 months. A lot of comfort food.
Well, if you think about 2 months, you know, 3 meals a day, that's 180 meals. We've got a great repertoire, and thank you for having all of our books. One of our books is a cookbook. A couple of our books.
Fire Island Cookbook, correct? Yes.
Thank you. It's about 6 years old and still selling really well. Thank you. Knock
That's
wood.
great.
So we made this casserole, put it on Instagram and Facebook. It got more comments and more likes
Yeah.
than like, you know, than anything. And this producer reached out and said, "Hey, would you guys shoot a home video and so we could tell our viewers about this?"
So watch on WGN.
We'll let everybody know when it'll be
We'll let
on.
everybody know.
Okay, perfect.
Sometime in the next few weeks.
We filmed it today. It's 4.5 minutes, and it's basically how to take these 5 ingredients and make tater tot casserole. And then we sit down at the table and what wines to pair it with. So we really had a good time. So yeah, I mean, we're doing a lot of cooking and we're doing a lot of fun things, but as to go back to what you were saying before, it doesn't substitute for traveling because so many amazing people, you travel the world, and I think we get a really good feel for the cultures of the world and the differences and the similarities of people by our travel. And, you know, Wanda, we've been together on some trips and we've been in wonderful places together. And when you meet these wonderful Italian families who really, they give you hospitality and, you know, they're so gracious. They invite you to their table. They pour their wines. They cook for you. And that's really what the world of wine is to me. And it feels a little disjointed now, but things are going to get better. You know, we're going to make it through this. We've made it through a lot, you know, more hardships. 1918 was the Spanish flu.
Were you alive then?
2018, no.
You didn't realize you were with such a much older man, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Much older, about. But anyway, that said, you know, we've made it through so much adversity. So we're going to make it through this, and we're going to be able to go back to the world that we've had before. We might have a little bit of limitations, and that's going to be okay.
I think travel's going to be different, and there's been a lot
Travel
of
will be different. Wine tastings will be different. The
Right.
events that we go to. But I think you're right. And I would love to end on this positive note where, you know, wine is still bringing people together, even though we're physically not in the same space. The community is so vibrant. And I think the beauty of what you do is that clearly with all your expertise, you never lose sight of the fun.
Right.
So many people might have made that tater tot casserole. Was like, I'm not going to put that on Instagram. What would people think? But that's the reality. We're all in this situation. We all love comfort food, and you paired it with champagne.
Yes, we did.
So this goes to show, you know, all of us have these two sides to us, and everyone can't have Chateaubriand and, you know, fine Bordeaux every day. So we have to be open to, you know, mixing all of it together. And I think that's what makes you so successful at what you do.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Well, everyone follow them on Instagram at World Wine Guys, the website worldwineguys.com. You can learn more about their books and their travels. If you don't have this book, get it. And the other 4 books as well, and the one that's coming, and the one after that, and the one after that.
That's right. Wanda, it's been great chatting. I hope to see you.
Great chatting with you. Stay safe, my friends.
All right. Cheers.
Ciao.
Cheers.
Adios.
Ciao, ciao.